Okay, so today is session number 4 on first semester on Frobenius subalgebra lattice in tensor categories. So last week we provided the introduction part by slides, which are there, something like that. Yesterday we started the details about the paper we are covering. So we cited the main reference for the basic of monoidal and tensor category. We recall the definition of a unital algebra, co-unital algebra, coalgebra, and Frobenius algebra. So these are the main relation, very important relation. We define something weaker with only this equality. But the first thing we will do today is to prove that, in fact, as long as you have this equality for unital algebra, co-unital coalgebra, these two equality, this is equivalent. An important point is that we make a dual structure. We make the Frobenius algebra, in fact, a weak Frobenius algebra, self-dual, with this choice of evaluation and co-evaluation map involving the mixing multiplication and co-unit or unit and co-multiplication. And we proved it's really dual. They are really a dual. It's really a dual object because we have to prove the zigzag relation. Okay. Okay, so I do that. What about that? This is another equivalence formula we proved yesterday for weak Frobenius. So as long as you have a unital algebra, co-unital coalgebra, weak Frobenius is equivalent to this equality. Okay. So which is a little different because you see for Frobenius or weak Frobenius, you have something from x tensor x to x tensor x equality. But this reformulation here is equality between morphism for x to x tensor x or for x tensor x to x. So it's a little different. And this kind of relation are, of course, very useful in the details of some proof. Okay, so this was proved yesterday. So, okay, so now we will prove that for a unital algebra, co-unital coalgebra, the weak Frobenius is equivalent to the Frobenius property. So lemma 2.7. So unital algebra. Sorry. Algebra and co-unital algebra. Coalgebra. Co-unital coalgebra is weak Frobenius if and only if it is Frobenius. If and only if is Frobenius. Okay, so proof. So again, the proof will be by picture. So the proof is illustrated by the following picture diagram, where when we talk about weak Frobenius, this will refer to the previous lemma. So this means that for weak Frobenius, we will use the formula with 3 legs instead of the one with 4 legs. Okay, so okay. So unital algebra and counital algebra is weak Frobenius only if it is Frobenius. So so we only need to show that weak Frobenius implies Frobenius, because Frobenius implies weak Frobenius is immediate. Okay, so you start, but maybe we will see that. Start, so we want to prove Frobenius. So we want to prove, Frobenius implies weak Frobenius, of course, because weak Frobenius, you have the same equality without something. So let me refresh memory. Frobenius is that. So that implies, of course, that. No problem. We want to show that. So we already have this equal this. So what we need is to deduce this equality. So we will start from that, and we want to get that. And as long as we did that, then this will end the proof. Okay. So you start from this picture. Now we apply the zigzag relation. We will apply zigzag relation here. So this is identity, and we will make some zigzag. Okay, so let me take this color. So zigzag relation here. Right. It's a little time consuming to change this color, but that is also easier to understand. So zigzag relation. So equal. So you apply some zigzag. So you do something like that here. So you replace like that, and then you just draw again the same. Okay, that's okay. Now we will apply weak Frobenius with 3 legs using the reformulation I mentioned here. So with 3 legs, so 1 leg, 2 leg, 3 leg. Okay, weak Frobenius for that. And so we get so what do we do here? So remember this one. So you replace that by that. Okay. So we will put that again. And now we want to put that. And now we want to finish that. So like that. Okay. So we move up a bit. Yeah. I hope today I will be able to write everything in the same Zero. Okay, now we apply the associativity. So this is the associativity here. Associativity. So you replace this by something like that. Okay, and the rest is invariant. So you get like that, like that, and like that. And again, weak Frobenius here. Again, weak Frobenius for this one. So you get equal to so you replace these three legs diagram. So three-leg diagram by something like like that. So you just put like that. So this is exactly what we want. So it's become like that. Okay. And so we prove we prove this equality, the missing equality. We already know that this is also equal to its the version like that by assumption. So it's equal to that also. So we have the Frobenius assumption, Frobenius condition. So weak Frobenius implies Frobenius, and of course Frobenius implies weak Frobenius. So this ends the proof. Okay. So yeah, as I said, the reverse is immediate by definition. Something like that. So if Frobenius implies weak Frobenius, clearly. Nothing to say. Okay. So now, so now we will show something very useful again, is that the dual of the multiplication morphism is the co-multiplication morphism, and the dual of the co-multiplication morphism is the multiplication morphism. Again, that's very useful. And again, we will prove that by picture. In fact, most of the proof will be by picture in this class, except at the end, at the very end. So let be a Frobenius algebra. Xm delta I epsilon. Then M dual is delta and delta dual is M, as shown below. So this equality can be depicted as follows. So you consider the multiplication morphism. And you apply the dual. So what is the dual of a morphism? Remember that if you have a morphism f from x to y, its dual is something like that. You apply the evaluation and co-evaluation map, and you put identity. So this is in the EGNO book. This is the definition of the dual. Okay. So if you apply the dual to M, you will have to write. So here it's X tensor X. So you write the co-evaluation map for X tensor X, and here you put the evaluation map for X tensor X. So this is what we want to show. So this is M star, and we want to show this is equal to delta. And the delta star is equal to M. So you start from not dot delta, delta. So delta dual, want to show it is M. Okay. So this is what we need to show now. And the proof will be direct by weak Frobenius assumption, in fact. Okay. Proof. So if it is direct by weak Frobenius, in fact, we don't even need to assume, we know weak Frobenius is equivalent to Frobenius now. So it makes no sense to write weak Frobenius here, because we know it is equivalent. But the equality we will use are the weak Frobenius equality. In fact, the reformulation of a weak Frobenius equality with 3 legs. So to prove that, to prove the first equality, we apply lemma 2.6, the reformulation for weak Frobenius 3 times. You apply it 3 times, and it's immediate. 3 times. Okay. So, I guess I have enough space to do that here. So you start from that. I will draw a bit more small. And now you apply the weak Frobenius 1 time here. So this here. Okay. And then you will get so replace by what something like that. So you what? Something, so you have something like that. So this is the application. And then you complete. So this is exactly this part, replaced by that. And then you complete by the rest. What remains? So you have something here, something here, and here. Okay, and then again, so a second time. Yeah. So you see, this is easy. You get something like that. And then you complete that, that, and that. And finally, again, a last time. So in the entire, you can apply it in the entire thing. And you get only. Okay. So which is so here it's m star and here is delta. Okay. So you see it's easy, very easy. So let me say lemma 2.6. Okay, and the other, of course, the other equality is very similar. So second equality. Not this pen. How did I change my pen? Wait. Anyway. What? Hmm? Hmm. Okay. So the second equality is second equality. Follow similarly. Similarly. Okay. So that's very good. So dual of multiplication is co-multiplication, and dual of co-multiplication is multiplication. Okay, so now let's prove some stronger version of the weak Frobenius reformulation with three legs by putting in between some morphism. And we will see that this lemma will be used so many times in the rest of the class. So it's a little generalization of the three-leg relation for Frobenius algebra. And in fact, so let x and x prime be two self-dual objects, and let alpha be a morphism in x and x prime. So here x and x prime are not assumed to be any more structured than just self-dual object. So be careful, x prime is not the dual of x. The dual of x is x, the dual of x prime is x prime. They are together self-dual. So we will assume only x to be Frobenius, but no assumption on x prime first. If x m delta e epsilon is a Frobenius algebra, then, and we have the relation with three legs, but with this morphism alpha in between. So we have this three leg. This is equal to so how the alpha is transformed. In fact, you just put the dual of alpha. And this way. And same thing for this relation. So alpha. And yeah. No, this is okay. This is equal to alpha star like that. Okay. Okay, so let me write maybe so alpha is from x to x prime. So here it's x, here is x prime. And they are self-dual. So x alpha star is from x prime to x. Okay. Yeah. So if you assume x to be Frobenius, you have this relation. Now, to have the other relation, other similar relation, we need to assume x prime to be Frobenius and no assumption on x. So now if x prime, m prime, delta prime, e prime, epsilon is the Frobenius algebra, then, and now we can prove something this way. So there, this is that, and this is like yeah, okay. So you see that they are not here you have the leg here, but here it's there. And similarly, leg is here, leg is there. So if you move the leg here from here to here, so you remove that, you put that, and to get a relation in this variation, here we really need x prime to be Frobenius, not x. So that's why. Okay, but of course the proof of all this equality are similar to, so we only need to prove one and all the rest should be similar. Yeah, so we will prove which one? We will prove this one. And the other will be completely similar. So proof. So we can prove the first equality using the following diagram. Yeah. Okay, so you start from that. And okay. Now you apply zigzag relation. Here. So you put some zigzag relation here. Zigzag relation, and you get. So you have zigzag. So you put. So you keep this part, and then you put some zigzag, and then you continue. You complete. Okay. What next do we need? So we will apply the weak Frobenius with 3 legs, as usual. Here, the weak Frobenius here. And here we will apply the definition of the dual of alpha. Okay. So this one here is duality. Definition of the dual of alpha star by the picture. And here is weak Frobenius. So what do you get? Weak Frobenius. So you get something with three legs this way. Something like that. And then you complete from here. Here it's just alpha star. So you just put alpha star. Okay. And so this is exactly what we wanted to show. So the rest is similar. You start. Everything is similar. Okay. So oh, so this part. Okay. Like that. So the proof of the other equality follow a similar approach. Proof of other equalities follow similar approach. Okay. Okay. Ah. Okay, so as I said, this lemma 2.9 is a stronger version of lemma 2.6 for weak Frobenius, but because it will be very useful in the rest of the class, of the paper, we will say that in the rest, when you say weak Frobenius, we refer to this lemma 2.9 for simplicity. In the rest of the paper, we will refer to application of, I wrote paper, but I can write course, but because we are covering a paper, I can write paper 2.9 as weak Frobenius. Okay, so more at okay, so next lemma, we will just prove there's the same idea as before, but now with the unit and co-unit. So the dual of the unit is a co-unit, and the dual of the co-unit is a unit. But the proof will be even simpler, much simpler. So let x m delta e epsilon be a Frobenius algebra. Then the dual of the unit is the co-unit, and the dual of the co-unit is the unit, as depicted below. So you take the unit, dual of the unit. Remember, the one is object one is missing, or if you want to show it is missing, you just put some some dot line like that, which means it is like if you don't write it, in fact. And the dual. So this is the dual of the unit and should be the co-unit. Okay. And the dual of the co-unit. So you have the co-unit and dual. And of course, the dual is what we want to solve. So proof. So we can demonstrate the first equality using the following diagram. Following diagram. Okay, so you start from this one. And you apply self-dual. So remember, when I say self-dual, I mean another lemma, the lemma saying that the cap and cup are given by putting, so this equal this, and this equal this. So when I say self-dual, we will say self-dual, it just means that you can complete by that. So so I wrote a sentence yesterday saying that when I say self-dual, I mean this lemma. So here, self-dual. So you have just that with some extra thing. Okay. And then you apply the, so let's remove, as I said, this should be can be omitted. So it's just written for convention, but you can remove it. And now you apply the unitality assumption here. So unitality. Unitality. And you get, so you can replace what is inside the green circle as just the identity, and then you complete by that. So you get the co-unit. Okay. So and the second equality is similar. The second equality follow similarly. Okay, now we know the dual of the multiplication co-multiplication, unit co-unit. Now what about the dual of evaluation and co-evaluation? 211. Lemma 211. So let X be a Frobenius algebra. then evaluation, the dual of the evaluation map is the co-evaluation map, and the dual of the co-evaluation map is the evaluation. Okay, so why? So I wrote it is immediate from lemma 2.4, 2.8, and 2.10. So 2.4. It is 2.4. So okay, 2.4 is that. Okay, so it means the evaluation map and co-evaluation map are of this form. So you want to apply the dual of that. Okay. Next, 2.8. What is 2.8? This is 2.8. So okay. The dual of multiplication is co-multiplication. In fact, yeah. And 2.10 is that. Okay. No, in fact, this is so 2.4, yeah. So I will write immediate from this lemma, but I will draw a picture just to explain. Immediate from lemma 2.4, 2.8, 2.10. So what do we have? You want so evaluation map. Evaluation map is the composition. Yeah, so I already forgot. Here it may be more relevant to write by formula because we already write everything, already did demonstrate. So this is evaluation map. Epsilon composed with n. This is epsilon composed with m, and we want the dual, which is the dual of that. And we know by Technobook that the dual of a composition we change the order. You can see that you can convince yourself. F, G, and you take dual. Then it's the same that you have the dual of G, like that, and the dual of F. So you have some reversement. So you reverse the order. And now this is equal to delta compose E, which is the co-evaluation map of X. Okay. And similarly, co-ev X star equal blah 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 equal f of X. Okay, so I will make the pause now. So pause. Pause. Okay. Okay, so what about now? Okay. So we will need Another variation of the Frobenius assumption, in fact, we don't even need it is an equivalence. We will prove another pictorial identity we can deduce from the Frobenius assumption. So the following equalities hold in a Frobenius algebra. Okay, so what is this new picture? So it's a relation between four legs as for the Frobenius assumption, but as follow. In fact, there is the two, you can make four legs picture this way. So you start from that, but you do like that. This is another four legs picture. In fact, you can have, as long as you want four legs picture, you can do like that if you want. But we only need this one. And this is equal to that, which is equal to that. Okay. And this will be proved again trivially by the weak Frobenius identity, the three-leg identity. So you can see it right here. You will apply the three-leg identity, so you will get that. And similarly, you apply the three-leg identity, you get that. So it's immediate. So proof. This can be proven using the following diagram. In fact, I will just copy and paste, and I will add some dotted line. So it will be very, very short. So copy, paste. And as I said, we will apply weak Frobenius equality here and here. Okay. Weak Frobenius. Okay. And same for the rest. And that's all. So yeah, that's very easy. But we will need that also. Next, now we start something a little bit more tricky. So in fact, by manipulating this kind of picture, it's like playing some Lego. And in fact, it turns out that you can prove more and more tricky thing. The following will be a key. The following will be a key identity and some coming proof. And you will see when you just look at the formula, it looks very complicated how to prove that just by formula. But when you see the picture, then you will see the proof by picture. Make everything very clear. So there is no doubt that using pictorial calculus is really unavoidable. So let this be a Frobenius algebra. Algebra object and let alpha beta beta. In fact, we don't need beta. Ah, just alpha. There's no beta here. We can remove the beta. So lemma 213. There is no need of beta. So just alpha. Let alpha be a morphism in home between x and x. Then so multiplication morphism composed with alpha composed with delta equal. And you will see the formula will be quite complicated. So unit morphism composed with multiplication morphism composed with alpha tensor identity x composed with delta tensor identity of x composed with m. But fortunately, we will do a picture which can be depicted as follows. So the first in the left-hand side, co-multiplication. Wait, alpha. Here the formula, I should write alpha identity. So we are missing alpha tensor identity. Alpha should be alpha tensor identity of x. So here it's another typo. Alpha tensor identity of x compose M. Okay. So delta, then alpha tensor identity, then M. Okay. That should be equal to what? So M. So I feel like there is another typo here. Let me check. I guess the M should be on the other side. Wait. So let me draw first what they are inside there. So let me draw like it is written, and then I will see. Wait. So you start from top to bottom. So you start from there. So you have M. It will be like that. There should be a typo somewhere, but let me check. You have M, and then you will have identity tensor something, and the something should be so delta. Then compose with alpha identity, compose with M, Compose with E. Hmm. Yeah. So the formula here is completely wrong. So what we want is that. What we want to show is like alpha. I will have to fix the formula. This is the equality we will prove by picture. But what is the picture for that? What is the formula for that? So the formula is not that. So you have something. You have a big thing composed with M. So this big thing composed with M. Yeah. So what about that? So you have another M. So you have identity. So you will have an identity of X tensor something. And this something is that, which is alpha tensor identity composed with so on the so delta, where is delta? Delta should be from top to bottom, so you start from that. So delta should be there. And here you should get, no. There should be M. And there should be delta composed with the unit. Unit composed with delta. I'm not mistaken. Should be okay. Let me repeat. So M. So from top to bottom, so you read from right to left. So you finish by that. So that's okay. Then you have this and this. So tensor, identity tensor something. Okay, so now we focus on that. In the middle, you have alpha tensor identity, so that's okay. And then, so from top to bottom is from right to left. So here I should be on the right. And this is, yeah, on the right for top E delta. And the other side is M. So that's okay. So many typo in this lemma. So what did I write? Yeah, it was completely upside down. And so left hand side, right hand side should be M composed with right hand side and composed delta composed tensor identity X. Okay, but again, as for the other typo, in fact, you see, you make mistake only with formula. With picture, there is no mistake. And in fact, all the proofs are done by picture, so this has no consequence for the rest of the class, of the paper. We just draw the formula just for just for information, in fact. This is too complicated to handle. Okay, so we will prove this formula by picture. And it will not be so complicated. So proof. Here is the graphical proof. Where, as I repeat again, weak Frobenius refer to lemma 2.9. Remember, the lemma, it is a stronger version of something before, because there is alpha here. Okay, so alpha. So we start from that. So we will prove, in fact, this. We will first assume the right-hand side and prove the left-hand side of what is written in the limit. Because it may be more natural this way. So first, you apply the associativity here. Associativity. So, yeah, VT. So you get something like that. Then you complete. So you have this leg, and then here you have alpha like that. Okay. And now you apply the dual, self-dual lemma here. So self-dual lemma here. So you can remove the unit here. And after that, you will apply the weak Frobenius. So we don't even, in fact, we don't need lemma 2.9, but lemma 2.6, because we don't transform anything for alpha. Lemma 2.6 enough. So we don't need, don't need yet the stronger version of weak Frobenius, but we will need later. Don't worry. Equal. So as I said, you have to maybe let me write one more. Okay. Copy and paste. So as I said, you just remove that. This is self-dual. And then you apply just the usual, the three-leg weak Frobenius without any morphism. So just lemma 2.6 here. So if I'm not mistaken, 2.6. Yeah, 2.6. And now you get, so this three-leg correspond to that. And then you complete, you have alpha like that. So here, just weak Frobenius, the usual from 2.6. Okay. So 2.9 also apply, but just by taking alpha equal identity, but the other alpha. It will be confusing because it's not the same alpha. By taking the morphism in lemma 2.9, you take this morphism equal identity, and this is equivalent to lemma 2.6. Anyway, we proved what we wanted to prove. So that's done. Okay, and this picture will be very useful, in fact, when we will deal with connected. In fact, we will introduce, we give the definition of connected Frobenius algebra, connected object, just now. And the next result involving connected, we'll use this lemma 2.13, and we'll use this weird picture, which turns out to be very, very useful. Okay, so definition of connected and separable. So a unital algebra and co-unital coalgebra. So for now, we don't need any point structure in a K-linear monoidal category. So for this definition, we need to restrict to K-linear monoidal category because it will involve, we need the Hom space to be vector space because we need to multiply some morphism by some constant, scalar constant in the field. So it's called connected. And in the literature, you can also find the name haploid, but I prefer connected. It's less haploid is, I don't know, the weird word. If the Hom space between 1 and x is one dimensional. Specifically, equal to the field times the unit. So in fact, for this definition of connected, you only need a unital algebra. I guess you don't need, you don't even need algebra. Just need what do you need? You need an object. Anyway, doesn't matter. It works for, at least for unital algebra. You can talk about connected unital algebra. You don't need to be co-unital coalgebra for this definition. But for separable, you will need also the co-unital coalgebra. So we group them together, but note that for connected, you only need unital algebra. Maybe you can say co-connected with co-unital coalgebra. Maybe that's in some initial version we wrote also co-connected and co-connected. We say Hom x1 and Hom 1x is one dimensional. Anyway, so it is termed separable. Dans les maths, tout fiche toujours connect en ligne unit algebra unit. Anyway. Okay, this is called separable if there is, so in fact, even for, if there exists a scalar in the field such that the multiplication composed with the multiplication is lambda times the identity of x, as illustrated below. Separable. So the composition of this composition is just lambda times the identity. And the very useful lemma is that the connected Frobenius algebra is separable. And that lemma will use the weird picture before. So, a connected Frobenius algebra is separable. Okay, so it may be the first, the level of this proof is slightly higher than the proof we did before, because it mixes picture and word. It's like in sentence. We need to both to make picture and to write some explanation by word. So note that. So this composition is here. So which is so this composition is nothing but something like that. But I will draw it later. So this composition is morphism from 1 to x. So by the connected assumption, it's one-dimensional, this subspace. So it's a scalar multiple of the unit by the connected assumption. Connectedness condition. There exists lambda in the field such that M compose delta compose E is lambda E. So exactly as we write here, the scalar multiple of the unit as shown below. Yeah, so we will write a picture as shown below. So the picture is the following. So this picture is already proved. In fact, we are just reformulating what we said before by word. Okay, now we will apply the lemma 213. This lemma with alpha equals identity. Okay. So applying lemma 213 with alpha equal identity of x along with the previous equality and the unitality property. The unitality property. It's not a property, it's an assumption. I will. Yeah. And the unitality, yeah. Proof of 215. Unitality property. Anyway, doesn't matter. Unitality assumption. Yeah. We obtain. So we apply lemma 213 with alpha equal identity. So let me copy and paste that. And put alpha identity. Okay. We have this equality. Now, well, I don't even need too much space. Now you apply the previous equality here. So let me write maybe some dots. So applying lemma. Yeah. No, not here. Previous equality. This is that. So you get lambda and you replace this inside by some identity. Wait, so you have that. And then it is lambda identity by the unitality assumption. Okay. And so this is the separability. So the result follows. This is exactly what we wanted to show. So that's the result follow. So it's a little bit more complicated as before, but as you see, this is still very clear. Okay, so from now, we will stop to write a Frobenius algebra as a quintuple. Quintuple. We will just write x. So if there is no possibility for confusion, Frobenius algebra x m delta I epsilon may simply be referred 2 as x. Okay. Otherwise, it's really boring to write this quintuple every time. Okay. So next, we will talk about the trace, the definition. 216, the trace of morphism. So let X be an object in a monoidal category. Monoidal category C. So you see in this sentence, we specify that X is an object in a monoidal category. So X is not assumed to be a Frobenius algebra because if there is no possible function, yeah, we assume it is. So it's not X is not a Frobenius algebra. Okay, this is general. If you specify what is X, it may not be a Frobenius algebra. If you don't specify, this way it should be a Frobenius algebra. But here it's just a general object in a monoidal category. Let X be an object in a monoidal category C. Assume that X has a left dual and a double dual. So we want to give a very general definition, but in fact, in practice, we will just need X to be self-dual, so it's equal to its double dual, etc. But in fact, we write the definition in full generality. So the dual is denoted X star, and the double dual is denoted X double star, respectively. So the trace of a morphism alpha in between X and its double dual, denoted trace of alpha, is defined as this formula, which will be followed by a picture. So f of X dual composed with alpha tensor identity of X dual compose coevaluation of X, which is here, from 1 to 1. So it's a morphism from 1 to 1. Here there is no assumption. The unit is not assumed to be linear simple, so this may not be this Hom space may not be one-dimensional, so it may not be. In fact, we did not even assume to be K-linear. So this is just a set because it's locally small, but nothing else, in fact. For the trace to be a number, we need to assume K-linear and the unit to be linear simple. But in general, the trace is just something formal this way. Which is illustrated as follows. As illustrated below. So again, I will check the formula. We made so many typos. So, coev of X. So you start by coev of X, okay? Then you compose with alpha identity. So identity, in fact, we don't write. So coev is from 1 to x tensor x star, if I'm not mistaken. Alpha, yeah. And then, so coev is really from 1 to x tensor x star. I forgot. And then you compose with, so here you are in x double star. So the evaluation of x star is from x double star tensor x star to 1. Okay. So x double star x star. This picture is a trace. And so and you can write the trace, so a closed loop on the right, but you can also write a closed loop on the left if you assume that x double star has also a left dual. So in full generality, if x double star also has a left dual. So I don't know, maybe in a monoidal category, if an object has a dual and a double dual, then its double dual may also have a dual. Maybe it's automatic. Not sure. Then the following holds. So alpha star so what? So you do like that. So you start from that. So this alpha star is from X triple dual. Yeah, X triple dual to X dual. And this is almost time for stop. So I will just finish to show. So if is also, so this makes sense because X double star has a left dual by definition. And then by assumption, and then you apply the definition of alpha star. So it's a little result. In fact, we just write without any setting of lemma or something like that. So by definition of dual, you get so alpha and dual, and then you close. So you fill the rest, and then you apply the zigzag relation here. The zigzag relation. Zigzag relation, and so it's equal to that, which is a trace of alpha. Okay, so I will stop here. So you see, if X has a dual and a double dual, you can define the trace. So we can define a morphism from the unit to itself And if X double dual has also a left dual, you can reformulate this trace by on the left, this way. And so next week, I will write this remark, but I will read because it's good to what I said. If the monodial category is k-linear and the unit is linear simple, which means that from 1 to 1 is just the field, as, for example, in a tensor category is k-linear and the unit object is linear simple, then the element of the set from 1 to 1 can be interpreted as a scalar. Okay. If the category is abelian, then by Schur lemma, if the unit is simple, then the Hom space between 1 and 1 form a division algebra. Consequently, if the field is algebraically closed, then the unit is linear simple. So this is just, the remark is in two parts. First part, the general case for which the Hom space between 1 and 1 is a field, and so the trace is a scalar. And then an example where the unit is linear simple is when the field is algebraically closed and the category is abelian, because then you have a division algebra, which is a field. Okay. So I will write this remark next week because I have no time. But it was good to read it now because it's directly related to what we said, what we did. Okay, see you next week.